Hello viewers. One of my viewers wrote in and asked if I could show a video of a couple things on this Lasko 1128 humidifier. He was thinking about getting one and wasn't sure if it was the right product for him or not. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show the inside of it, because that was one of the things he asked about. I'm going to try to see if I can get a good comparison of how noisy it is, and I'm going to discuss a couple drawbacks to the unit. So first I'm going to open it up. This is the water filling jug. It holds quite a bit of water in there. Usually on average I can run this for about two days or so without having to refill it. Of course, if it's drier, then you'll need to do it more. So inside of this thing, we have the filter here, which is pretty much just a like a soft mesh material. The filters I generally replace once a year. You could probably get away with 2 years out of these, but they seem to spoil when they dry out. So as long as you're running the unit all the time, it should easily last you a whole year. And they're pretty cost effective to replace. I think they're only about $10 or $15. Not a big deal. Here's the fan. There's the water pump. It's a very simple machine. The water pump sits down in there, and it pumps up the water through these two hoses here. One of them spews out water into that little thingy there, which indicates if there's water in the unit or not. And then the other hose pumps up water onto the top of here. The water drains into those holes and wets the filter there. This air draws through here like this and gets humidified. So I'm going to put the unit back together now, and I think he also asked about how to clean this thing, or maybe she, I don't know who you are, but to clean it, the way they suggest to clean it is to fill the base with bleach and let it sit, which it doesn't seem like it would do anything to me other than clean out the base. But I want to clean out the filter and the hoses and the pump and everything. So this isn't necessarily the recommended way to do it, but I put the bleach in there, fill it up, and then I run it for about a half hour or so. And that seems to really get every area of it clean. And you have to do that on a regular basis. I try to do it at least once a week. If you don't do it, you'll get junk growing in there, like pink mold and stuff. It's disgusting. It's not good for the health. So you do have to clean this thing quite a bit. Well, as you can see, it comes apart really easily. This just lifts up out of here. So I'll put this back on there. And I'll plug this back in. And I'm going to fetch a fan I have over here. Here's an old box fan that I have. I'm going to turn this on now. Of course, this one is probably a little bit quieter than the new ones they put out today, because they're garbage. But I'm going to turn this on so you can hear how it sounds. I'll put this behind here. I'll put this on low. Okay, so that's an idea of how noisy it is. Now I'll put this on. So, as you can hear, that's on the slowest speed, and I would say that's louder than the box fan is. Put this back on. Yeah, it's louder than the box fan on slow. So I'll put it up to medium. Put this up to medium as well. Still louder. I'll go to high. High is maybe about the same. There's the water coming out of there. Now for all the noise, it is quite powerful. So it's certainly not noisy for nothing. I'll turn it off now. Okay, so if you're thinking about getting one of these, what I would say about this unit is, well, first off, it's very effective. I used to use one of those, what they call warm mist ones. They have a little boiling element in there that boils the water and it releases steam into the air. And I found those to be generally ineffective. It just kind of made like condensation on everything, and the humidity didn't really go up that much. This one, however, the humidity in the air goes up real fast when I'm running this thing, and I don't notice any condensation on stuff. So I definitely like this one better in terms of performance. Three main drawbacks to this one. First would be the noise. At night, it doesn't bother me. Actually, I think this thing makes kind of a pleasant sound. It's a nice deep rumbling sound, and it even got a little bit of water trickling to it. So I don't think it's necessarily an annoying sound. I can sleep with it just fine. But during the day, it does annoy me. Like if I'm trying to talk on the phone, the other person's going to hear this in the background. There's going to be background noise, and it's just, like if I'm trying to watch this video on the computer, I got to keep turning the volume up. So during the day, unless it's really, really dry, I typically don't run this thing because it is loud. And of course, keep in mind I'm using this in a small bedroom. If this was in like a living room, which is probably more what it's intended for, or a larger bedroom, the noise wouldn't be so amplified and it may not be quite as bad. But it is definitely very loud. The second drawback is the size. It takes up a lot of space. You can see relative to the box fan, it's even bigger than that thing is. So you do need a large area to replace this thing. And that's kind of a nuisance. But again, it does work very well, for what it is. And the third drawback is the cleaning. It's kind of a hassle to clean it, and you have to, like I said before, you have to clean it, otherwise you get stuff growing in there, and it's gross. So you have to clean it all the time. It's not maintenance free by any stretch of the imagination. And then you do have the filter replacement every year, which again is about $10-15. Not a ton of money, but it's it's worth underscoring. So those are the three drawbacks I would say about it. It is kind of an expensive unit, which I don't understand why, because it's all plastic and there's really nothing to it. But it's worth it. It works great. I've had this thing for 3 or 4 years now. It runs continuously through the winter, and it just works really well. It's got mechanical switches in there, so that's going to be pretty reliable. It's got an old-fashioned mechanical thermostat, so that's going to be pretty reliable. The thermostat works reasonably well. It's not super precise, but it will cycle the unit on and off and keep the humidity approximately where you want it. I think I underscored this already, but the runtime, it really varies depending on how dry or damp your air is. If it's really, really dry, you may go through the whole thing in a day. But that's not typical. Generally speaking, it goes 2 to 3 days. That's on low. If you put it up high, it's going to go up faster. But so yeah, there you have it. That's the Lasko 1128. If those three things I underscored aren't really an issue for you, I would say go for it. It's a great unit. It's very powerful and it's very effective. So hopefully this is what you wanted to see. If not, speak up soon, because I'm probably going to be putting this thing away in the next couple weeks. And that's it for this video. So thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, and out.